This is Seattle's Morning News. Dave Ross with Colleen O'Brien. Last week, we talked with Michelle Seidelman from the Portland Sea Shepherd Society. She was leading a demonstration to breach the Snake River dams to provide more salmon, which would in turn feed the orcas, who she's concerned that they're going to go extinct. Here's what she told us when we talked to her last week.
We just need an area for those salmon to be able to start to spawn and start to bring the runs back. You know, we still have 2 years that we really need to be doing everything we can to get salmon to them. But if we don't do this, we don't have a chance at all. We're looking at extinction.
Well, Todd Myers heard that. He is a member of the Puget Sound Salmon Recovery Council. And Todd, you say she's wrong about that. Tell me why.
So as a member of the Puget Sound Salmon Recovery Council, I'm as interested in anybody in helping salmon and steelhead and, of course, the orca, which rely on them. But the focus that we have to have is Puget Sound. And what NOAA Fisheries and the Department of Fish and Wildlife make very clear is that spending hundreds of millions, even billions of dollars to tear down the Snake River dams would do very little. And in fact, what they say would be a marginal benefit at best for orca. Whereas if you look at the top 10 most important watersheds for orca, almost all of them are in Puget Sound. The Snake River is number 9. So let's focus our efforts on where it makes a difference, and taking all the money that we need from Puget Sound and giving it to the, tearing down the Snake River dams would be a deadly distraction for orca. She
says it would not be, leaving aside for a moment which rivers might be better. She was saying you don't have to blow them up or take the concrete out, just dig around them, essentially.
That's really wishful thinking. And in fact, even some advocates that she quoted actually in terms of tearing down the dam say that it would cost at the least hundreds of millions of dollars. And other folks say it would cost billions. So I know that she's trying to downplay the seriousness of this. But in addition to that, you also have the amount of electricity that would be lost. So there's not only just a direct impact in terms of fundings, there's an indirect impact in terms of losing about 7% of Washington State's energy, which would be equivalent to all of the wind turbines and solar panels in Washington State. So it's really a serious step, and you can't just sort of take it blithely, especially since it's not going to increase salmon runs.
On the power issue, I asked her about that, and she said that we have so much surplus power now, we're selling the Snake River power for 17 cents on the dollar. In other words, we get it costs $1 to make it, and we sell it for 17 cents.
That's simply incorrect. And in fact, the Northwest Power Planning Council testified before the legislature just a week ago, saying that in 2021, and it's going to get worse in 2023, we're going to have shortages. So we're actually facing shortages in the near future with that electricity. And I asked them, I said, what would happen if we tore down the dams? And they said it would get worse. So far from having surplus, we're actually facing shortages. It's very valuable electricity. In fact, there's competition among utilities to get contracts with BPA for that electricity.
So do you agree that the orcas are in trouble and that salmon are the answer, or is it something else?
There's no doubt that orcas are in trouble. We haven't had a calf survive in the last 3 years. Their population is declining. It is very serious. There are 2 primary causes. One is simply lack of salmon and Chinook, and then the other is sound that makes it difficult for them to echolocate prey. We know that the sound gets in the way and makes it hard for them to hunt. Interestingly, Washington State ferries are some of the biggest problem that we have, so we have to do something about the noise.
Just the noise of the engines, huh?
Yeah, that's correct. And the cavitation of the propellers. Whale watching boats actually have some impact, but obviously whale watchers are very careful, and I think that they want to be more careful and learn. But yeah, the combination of sound and lack of forage in Puget Sound both have a very big impact. And the Orca Task Force found that if you can increase forage, salmon by about 15% and reduce sound by about 50%, that we can put the orca back on a path. But they're not on that path right now. They are in danger.
Todd Myers, who is a member of the Puget Sound Salmon Recovery Council. Todd, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks. It was good to talk with you.